Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I know I said in my last video I was gonna do like what I'm gonna read over the holidays kind of thing, but to be honest I'm not reading that much sort of Christmassy or holiday fiction at the moment. Basically what happened was I lost all sense of the self-restraint I usually have when I go to the library, and on top of that a bunch of the holds I had at the library all came in at once like they always do, and so that has resulted in this 12 books all at once. I usually only have maybe 2 or 3 at the most, so this is kind of freaking me out, but like, who have I got to blame other than myself? So I thought instead of a holiday reads video, I would do a library haul and talk a bit about the stuff that I will obviously be reading over the next few weeks. The fortunate thing is that due to the library closing over the holidays, everything gets like an extra 3 weeks on the loan period, so none of this is due back before mid-January, even the stuff that I've already had out for a little while. So yay! Hopefully I'll be able to read some during my time off over Christmas, and yeah, we'll see how it goes. So first up is Universal Love Stories, or Universal Love Story. I don't know if there's a colon after love. Universal Love Stories or Universal Love Stories. But either way, it's by Alexander Weinstien, and it's short stories set in a near future where our everyday technologies have fundamentally altered the possibilities and limits of how we love one another. So it sounded a little bit to me like, is it Black Mirror on Netflix? You know, the show, it's kind of Twilight Zone-y. It sounds like it's a little bit like that, but that they're all sort of themed around ideas of love. So I thought that sounded intriguing. I'm trying to read more short story collections, so we'll see how. I'm really hoping I like that one. It sounds really interesting. Next, I'll admit that I was mostly struck by this cover. It's by Jeff Vandemeer and it's called Dead Astronauts, and it's very, very colourful. I have heard of Jeff Vandemeer. I follow people who follow him on Twitter. I don't personally follow him because I'm not familiar with any of his work. This will be the first time I've read anything by him, but I gather his books are quite good. They're usually sci-fi a bit, or I think maybe he does like grimdark fantasy as well, which isn't my cup of tea, so that's sort of why I've never picked anything up by him, but this one sounds very intriguing. The first line of the blurb is, a messianic blue fox who slips through warrens of time and space on a mysterious mission. A homeless woman haunted by a demon who finds the key to all things in a strange journal. And it goes on a bit. And then at the end it says, Jeff Vandemeer's Dead Astronauts presents a city with no name of its own where, in the shadow of an all-powerful company, with a capital C, lives human and otherwise converge in terrifying and miraculous ways. At stake, the fate of the future, the fate of Earth, all the Earths. So I thought it sounded interesting. I've no idea whether I like it or not. It might be a bit weird. Who knows? It sounds intriguing, so I'm going to give it a go. The next one I actually mentioned it a couple of videos ago. It's Louis Nowra's Collected Stories, which I've spotted in a few bookshops recently. I think it might be a fairly new release. So last month I read Cosy, which is probably the play that Louis Nowra is best known for writing, and I've never read anything else by him, so I thought it would be interesting to see what his other stories are like. I don't actually know whether this is, yeah, in these highly imaginative stories and novellas, so it is fiction. I wasn't quite sure whether it was some kind of memoir type thing, but no, fiction. So yeah, we'll see what that's like, whether it's as good as Cosy. Now, the next one on my list, this was not a like undisciplined random pick at the library. A Wild Winter Swan by Gregory Maguire is the December Swell Publications read. So that one I went out and deliberately sought out. Gregory Maguire is of course best known for writing Wicked, The Life and Times of the Wicked Witch of the West, which is the book that the musical Wicked is based on. And I tried reading that about probably 10 years ago now, maybe even a bit more, and I wasn't really into it. So I'm going to see whether I like this one, and if I do, then I might consider giving Wicked another go in the new year. Because maybe I needed to be a bit like, my main issue was that it made the Land of Oz really gritty and adult, and that's not what Oz is to me. It's something from my childhood, and I didn't like the fact that it was having its innocence sort of torn away. But maybe I'm up for that now. So anyway, this is based on another fairy tale. It's another retelling. This one is based on Hans Christian Andersen's story, The Wild Swans, which all I can find out about that is what I read on Wikipedia. So that might be another thing. The fact that I have very little knowledge of the source material might actually help me like this better. So yeah, and it's a Christmassy one. It's set in 1960s New York, and it's kind of a magical realism one. So it's the kind of thing to read around Christmas, and I'm actually quite looking forward to this one. It's nice and slim as well compared to Wicked, which is like over 500 pages. So that will probably help with my enjoyment, particularly at the end of the year. Everyone's really busy. Everyone's tired, including me. So yeah. All right, now we're getting into like my bigger library haul that I had some time to kill, so I went to a branch of the library that's not actually my local branch, and I was like, I'll just sit here for a bit, you know, play a game on my phone till it's time for me to go to the thing I was waiting for. And then this one with its amazing gorgeous cover was on display. So this is called Mad, Bad and Dangerous to Know, and it's by Samira Ahmed, and basically it's telling two stories. The first one is about an art historian in Paris in the modern day, and she starts learning about a Muslim woman whose path may have intersected with Alexander Dumas, Eugène Delacroix, and Lord Byron. And then 200 years later, we're also getting that woman's story, which sounds incredibly intriguing. I love reading stories that are about sort of people who were ignored, or whose stories have been suppressed, and now we're getting to hear them. And this sounds like it is that kind of thing. It's got a gorgeous cover, so I'm really looking forward to that one. I really like the historical aspect. Sounds really up my alley. And the main character in the modern part is an art historian. I have an art history degree, so it sounds like it's a perfect book for me, and I've got really high expectations based on very little, so fingers crossed that one will be a good one. The next one is very small, and it's The Greatest Hit by Will Kostakis, and as you can see, it was only $2.99. It's very short. It's like 50 pages. And it's one of, I think there were a few books that were put out this year under the Australia Reads sort of label that you can see, and I think they were all quite short. This is the only one I know of, though, because I follow Will Kostakis on Twitter, and I've been to a couple of his book launches, and he's really cool. So I have actually started this one, and you would think that when you start a 50-page book with fairly large font, look at that you would finish it, but I didn't. I don't know why. Anyway, it's about a girl who's just started at uni, and everybody recognizes her as the girl in a viral video from a few years ago, and so she's trying to just be like, leave me alone, stop associating me with that, it's really embarrassing. But then, according to the blurb, a media opportunity gives her the chance to right a wrong and the courage to sing her greatest hit as it was originally written. Will it be enough to win back the person she hurt? So I haven't actually read enough yet to find out who she hurt and how and why. So yeah, it sounds cute. I will admit I haven't read a lot of Will Kostakis' books so far, and what I have read, like, it was fine. I enjoyed it, but like, I wasn't exactly running off to get more. But I like supporting my Australian authors. Will's a cool guy. So yeah, I'm gonna read this one regardless. Next is a book I've been wanting to read for years, and there's a whole bunch of them now. And this is A Whole New World by Liz Braswell. And these are put out under the Disney Hyperion imprint, and so they use all the Disney properties. And basically the concept of this series, they're called the Twisted Fairy Tales, and the concept of this series is basically, what if one aspect of the Disney movie was different. So for this one, it's what if Aladdin didn't find the lamp? And so Jafar gets there first, and he installs himself as Sultan, and Princess Jasmine becomes like the leader of these rebels, and that's how she meets Aladdin. And it sounds really fun, and I really want to see how it twists the original Disney movie. I have seen mixed reviews for most of the ones in this series, and I think this was one where they said like that they like half the book is basically just a novelization of the movie, and it takes a really long time to actually reach the point where it diverges from the story. So that will be a bit annoying if that is the case, but I'm really interested to see how these go. And I know there's about 9 books now, so I will probably end up checking out a few more to see how I like them. There's a couple of different authors who will contribute to it, so maybe one author is better than the other. Who knows? But I am excited for that one. The next one, the next one that I've picked up is Hard Time by Jodi Taylor. I listened to the audiobook of Doing Time, which is the first book in the Time Police series. Listened to the audiobook within the last couple of months, and I only gave it 3 stars. And there was the book didn't really seem to know what it was doing. Like, yeah, there's time travel and there's all this stuff, and there's cameos from the other time travel series by this author because they're set in the same universe. They're just 2 different organizations doing the time travel. And there was a whole thing where, like, yay, the 3 main characters are bonding, they're becoming friends, even though they're unlikely friends, and that's great. And then this other character is introduced, and the 2 boys just completely dropped the 3rd character, Jane, even though they'd all been sort of starting to really get to know each other. And it seemed really stupid, and only for the sake of the convenience of the plot, that it needed to look like Jane and the new character hated each other. And it was so inconsistent for a while. And then someone got murdered, and then it went off in a whole different direction, and it didn't really seem to know what it was doing. But maybe the murder is part of a larger plot, which we're going to see more of in this book. So I got to the end of that, and I was like, that was entertaining, I guess, but I don't think I'll really read the next book. Like, I wasn't that into it. But then I saw it sitting there, and look, it is very attractive. And I will admit I can be sucked in by an attractive book. And here we are. So it's got an Eye of Horus on it. They did visit ancient Egypt in the first book, so and a couple of the events that happened there are possibly part of the larger conspiracy that they're still trying to figure out. So maybe they're going to head back there. One of the time travel rules, though, is that you can't have 2 versions of yourself in the same time. So they won't be able to go back to exactly the same time, but who knows? We'll see. Anyway, so hopefully the 2 boys won't make me so angry that I'm slamming my... Well, I was slamming my hands on the steering wheel because I was listening to it while I was driving, so hopefully they won't make me do any of this or stuff like that. Hopefully they'll be decent human beings in this one. Sorry. I got really mad about it. Next on the list is another short story collection. It's called Uncommon Type, and it's by Tom Hanks. Yes, that Tom Hanks. I've been aware of this book for quite a while, and I really like Tom Hanks as an actor. I enjoy a lot of his movies. So when I spotted it on the shelves, I thought, why not? I have no idea what he's like as a writer. I hope he's good. The only thing I really know about this collection is that every single story features a typewriter, because Tom Hanks is a typewriter nerd and collector. So that's pretty cool. Hope I like it. So these last 3 are books I had on hold, and I didn't think any of them were going to arrive until January, and then they arrived for me last week. So here we are. The first is Everless by Sara Holland. I actually read an arc of this when it first came out 2 or 3 years ago, and I gave it 5 stars. And I saw it, I was going through my 5-star ratings on Goodreads recently, and I was like, 5 stars, I get that. Yeah, I remember enjoying that one. That one was a bit the, like, time. So it's kind of, I can't remember, it's hard to explain the concept. So basically your life is, like, your lifetime is in your blood, and they can extract years or days or hours from your life by extracting your blood. and that's sort of how, you know, so the rich can live forever because they've got heaps of it to spare, and they can exploit the poor to get more and that sort of thing. Meanwhile, the poorer characters are stuck, you know, living literally day to day and not sure if they'll be alive this time tomorrow, kind of thing. And I can't really remember much about the plot. That's literally all I remember. So knowing that there was a sequel, I thought I'd better reread the first book. So I've got both of those on hand. I'm hoping that, I remember there was a twist, like someone turned out to not be who we thought they were, or someone was related to an evil character, or both, something like that, and that was the big cliffhanger. So I am looking forward to returning to this world. Hopefully it'll be a 5-star read the second time, and hopefully the second book will live up to the first. Also, incidentally, how gorgeous are the covers, the two, what are they called? Hourglasses. I think this was only a duology, so hopefully I don't have to then wait for book 3. Hopefully this sums it up. Hooray. And last but not least is Plain Bad Heroines by Emily M. Danforth, with illustrations by Sara Lautman. So I first heard of this a couple of weeks ago when Bethany mentioned it in a Swell Publications video. And I was very intrigued by it, and I was, you know, sort of had it on my list of ones to maybe buy for myself, but then I spotted it at the library, and I actually tried getting it out from the library at the same time as a bunch of other things, but it wouldn't let me because someone else had it on hold. They just hadn't got around to retrieving it for that person yet. So they were like, do you want to put it on hold for yourself? And I was like, yeah, sure. Not realizing that they obviously have quite a number of copies because it came in for me like 2 days later. So that was exciting. So this is a kind of queer horror thing. There's mysterious woods, people go missing, it's a boarding school, people went missing in the past, and now a film crew is there, and mysterious things are happening. It's got cool formatting things. So I can't find it now, but like there was some stuff in script format, and yeah, I can't find any of it now. There's some black, oh, see, look. Ooh. So yeah, this one sounds really interesting, and again, I've sort of got high hopes for it based on very little knowledge, so hopefully it will live up to them. Apparently I've been talking for 20 minutes. That's ridiculous. This video was supposed to be short. So that is my library haul, and I've got all of these till at least mid-January. I'm probably going to try and read them in roughly the order that I got them out. But yeah, I have that extra time over Christmas as well because the library shuts down, like I mentioned at the start. So hopefully I'll get through a bunch of these. I'm pretty excited. There's a vast array of genres and types of books, so I've got lots to look forward to, and I'll let you know how I go with them in a future video. This will definitely be my last video before Christmas, so if you celebrate, I hope you have a great one, and I will probably see you in the new year. See you then. Bye. I'm going to start that all again.